If I look at nutrition, it is at the heart of what we do. Everything about Danone is about creating the science to deliver nutrition and then developing the products into which that nutrition can be packed. If we look at our entire global portfolio, essential dairy, which is yogurts, drinkable yogurts, etc., it's around nutrition. It's all around protein. The range of new yogurts that we have launched in Europe and US on high protein go exactly into the space of very targeted nutrition, which is the protein requirement. Waters is about hydration, and therefore that's also around nutrition. Yeah. Specialized nutrition is for infants, it's for kids with allergies, and it's for adults who have got deficiency or lifestyle conditions. So everything which Danone does is around nutrition globally. Yeah. And our play, of course, in the Indian context is also to be able to understand the nutrition needs of the Indian consumers and to bring products which are relevant and appropriately tailored to the Indian consumer using our global science powerhouse. It's causing a lot of disturbance and probably will cause even more in the future, unfortunately. I think this is an agenda which needs to be strongly managed through public-private partnerships. We can't look at governments alone to handle that. We can't look at the private sector alone to handle that. This has to happen through a combination of public-private partnerships. Very often governments have the funding but not the know-how. Very often industries are willing to do it, but they don't have the reach, they don't have the penetration, they don't have the scale to be able to do it. I think this is an area which is, with every passing year, is becoming more and more critical for strong programs and strong interventions. And that's where the public-private partnerships need to play. Now, we have got what we call a Danone impact journey, in which we have laid out some very clear commitments relating to health through food, relating to social empowerment and fair living wages, and relating to decarbonization and protection of natural resources. If I focus on the third one, then the commitments that we have made over there are reduction in carbon from scope 1, 2 and scope 3, and reduction in water usage, and reduction in usage of plastics, non-recyclable plastics. So I think these are the three areas where we are working on. We are not alone. Others are working over there as well. Other companies equally have got very strong programs in each of these areas. We have got a strong program on methane, 30% methane emission reduction by 2030. Somebody else may have a stronger program on plastics. So every industry is trying to do their own, but I strongly believe that it is time for the industry and the governments to come together in a pre-competitive manner in this very important mission of climate, of arresting climate change. We all know Science-Based Targets Initiative, SBTi 1.5, which is targeted towards reducing the temperature increase, climate increase by 1.5 degrees. Many of the big countries are signatories to that. We know the Carbon Disclosure Project, CDP, which is monitoring who is achieving AAA rating and many other parameters. But if you bring all of this together, all the ingredients are there, but somehow it needs to come together into a nice big meal. People like me in operations, in the supply chain, we are sort of the frontline troops whenever anything in terms of VUCA starts happening in the world. Whether it's a geopolitical disturbance, a tariff change, or any kind of a regulatory change, product regulatory change, it's an economic forex change. All of these start affecting supply chains very, very strongly. Yeah? And you have to be resilient, you have to be always prepared to see how do you shift your lanes, your routes, how do you, your sourcing routes, and how do you continue supplying your products to a consumer in spite of all this volatility. It's not always easy, I'm oversimplifying. And actually there is a very interesting concept in the industry which is evolving now, which is going beyond resilience. Resilience is about having the ability to supply in a VUCA world. And this one is called antifragility. Antifragility is that as the world becomes more VUCA, your systems become stronger. Yeah. So it's what people have started talking about now. It's something like saying that I have got a supply system which is so robust that if more uncertainty comes, if more disruption comes, it grows stronger because some parts of it are capable of taking up more load than some other parts of it. So I think VUCA is a way of life now. We have to cope with a world which is going to be disruptive sometime or the other. And that is a consequence also of the supply chains having become very efficient globally. We have taken efficiency to a level where any small disturbance somewhere causes a global crisis. Yeah. A ship sails slightly sideways in the Suez Canal. For 3 weeks, all the east-west trade is stopped. Could you have imagined it 20 years ago? Yeah. COVID comes and half the world comes to a standstill. Half the manufacturing in the world comes to a standstill. We get into the Russia gets into a conflict with Ukraine. You suddenly have a crisis around the world on sunflower oil, on some of the food grains and all that. But at the same time, while I mentioned all these crises have come, the world has also been quick to recover from them. So I think over a period of time, we have become much more resilient and been able to cope with geopolitical crisis. The latest one which is now happening, which people are already coping with, is the whole new talk about tariffs in the US. Yeah, you start tariffs in the US, you start reciprocal tariffs in the rest of the world. We are entering a new regime. So I think we are resilient enough in the supply chain to be able to cope with all of this. This is the job of a supply chain leader every day.